Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. Before we jump into this beautiful look on the gorgeous Hannah, I just want to say two things. First of all, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Your comments and your kind words really mean so much to me, and it just means so much to me that there are people out there who want to watch these videos that I'm making. It really does mean a lot. So thank you. And then also I wanted to apologize for the lack of video the last few weeks. If you follow me on Instagram, then you may have seen my announcement that I am pregnant with baby number 2. We're so excited. We're having another little girl due in November. And let's just say that I'm really, really grateful to be out of the first trimester. That first trimester of pregnancy is not my favorite, and I was just really sick, really low energy, and I decided to give myself some grace while I was still taking care of Ivy, my little 17-month-old, as well as working tons of makeup jobs in the thick of wedding season. But I'm not going anywhere. I've got tons more videos coming to you. I'm loving creating here on YouTube, and yes. Okay, now let's jump into the look. So today's look, as you can see, are these fun purpley pinks. It's a really soft eye look with really beautiful glowing skin, and it's definitely like a glam look, but in a more soft way. So my client Hannah, she's so gorgeous. I can't even handle it. She was attending a 2000s party and asked me to do her makeup, and she didn't want like a look that was necessarily how makeup was done in the early 2000s, but more of a look that would just be pretty and go with the very like pinkish kind of Legally Blonde Britney Spears-esque outfit that she was wearing. So that is what we did, and the palette that I was using was the Huda Beauty New Nudes palette, and the colors that I used the most were Teddy, Tickled, and Spanked, I believe. Just kind of some matte pinks and a little bit of a purpley shade. And I also used like the matte cream colored shade to brighten up her brow bone a little bit, as you saw me do. And then I deepened up the outer corners of the eye with Cypress Umber from the Anastasia Soft Glam or Modern Renaissance palette. So just kind of a simple eye look, but I think it turned out really pretty. And with her green eyes, I mean, these colors are just so flattering to green eyes. For the lid, I mixed just a couple of like my go-to kind of champagne shimmer shades. I've really been enjoying mixing a few of them lately. I just feel like I get even more payoff. And of course, I always spray my brush with some setting spray to intensify the shimmer on the lid even more. I even went in with a second layer just to make it pop that much more. Then I took the same blending brush I'd been using and just kind of dusted through the crease to make sure everything was smooth there. And then I took a little bit more of that brown Cypress Umber shade on a smaller blending brush just to deepen up the outer corner a little bit more, as well as blend where the shimmers meet those mattes. For eyeliner, I did what I do on 99% of my clients, and I stamped some black eyeshadow along the lash line with a flat definer brush. I just love doing this because it defines the lash line and it makes it so that the falsies will blend better than if you didn't do any eyeliner, but it's still soft because you're using an eyeshadow instead of an eyeliner. Then I cleaned up the fallout underneath the eyes with the simple micellar water on a cotton round folded in half. And I like to have the client look up toward the ceiling while I clean up underneath the eye. And then to sharpen up the outer edge of the eyeshadow, like you see me doing, I have them look straight ahead. And then I just get a better idea of where to place that edge of the eyeshadow, if that makes sense. Then I went ahead and moisturized her skin with the simple replenishing rich moisturizer. I even brought it up gently underneath her eyes as well. I brought that moisturizer down her neck as well. It's important to not forget about the neck. Sometimes we can forget about the neck when it comes to skincare or skin prep or even the makeup. And I once heard somebody say that your neck is like your second face, which I think is really creepy sounding, but it's a good point to remember. So for primer, I first went in with the Elsie Pearl Radiance Primer just to add a little bit more glow to her complexion. Then I went in the T-zone with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer just to smooth everything out there and kind of mattify the skin a bit. I did finally get the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. So I just barely got it in the mail. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm definitely going to keep you guys posted. And if it's good, if it's better than the e.l.f. one that everybody says is a dupe, then you'll definitely see me using it. So for foundation, I mixed the Huda Beauty Faux Filter with the Makeup Forever Reboot foundation. I really, really love this combination when you want something glowy for the foundation and not too heavy. So I think it looked so pretty on her skin, and it does really help that she has great skin. I could tell that she takes really good care of her skin. That's so important to remember, that makeup can only really look as good as the skin underneath it. So don't forget about your skincare routine and how important that is. It makes the whole world of a difference. So the shades of the foundation that I mixed was Macchiato for the Huda Beauty foundation, and then for the Makeup Forever Reboot, it was the shade Y503, which has, I mean, I think it's supposed to be technically a yellow undertone. I think that's what the Y indicates. But at least to my eye, it has like a very rich, warm, almost reddish undertone. And I really like having a shade like that in my collection just to like really warm up a foundation if I need to. She had a really great spray tan going on. And so I needed to make sure that the foundation had a nice warmth to it. So that was perfect. And then of course I brought the foundation down the neck as well. Well, I started to, and then I went back to the face. But first I used a brush to apply the foundation and then went in with another thin layer with the Beauty Blender. And now I'm going down the neck. Then I just took some time to really press the foundation into the skin. I find that this helps with the longevity of the makeup as well as having it look more skin-like rather than looking like makeup. For concealer, I've been loving mixing the Tarte Shape Tape concealer with the LA Girl Pro concealer. It makes such an amazing full coverage concealer. I really have been loving that combination. So that is what I used. And you may have noticed that I actually brought the foundation up a little bit under her eyes. In the past, I've always really left the under eye area free from foundation just because I knew I was going to go in with concealer there. But I've been liking using quite a lot less concealer. I know it probably doesn't look like less. It looks like a ton on camera, but it is less. And I'm keeping that concealer just a little bit higher. I'm not bringing it as far down so basically I'm creating not quite as bright of an under eye as I have in the past. And I've just been liking that look. So that's what I've been doing. And I'm using the same beauty blender that I used for the foundation. I just use one beauty blender throughout a whole makeup application. So I use it for foundation, concealer, blending the contour, baking if I'm doing that. So yeah, I always just use one beauty blender, and I do use it damp. For cream contour, I mixed the LA Girl Pro Concealer in Beautiful Bronze with that Makeup Forever Reboot Foundation in the shade Y503 that has that really rich, warm undertone. And that created the perfect cream contour shade for Hannah. And if you've watched any of my other videos, then you know how much I love the Beautiful Bronze shade of the LA Girl Pro Concealer. That is just like one of my top makeup products of all time. I think I use pretty much nothing else to cream contour at this point. I just love to use that mixed with a little bit of the client's foundation. That way it creates the perfect cream contour shade, and it just blends beautifully. It stays all day. It gives a beautiful look to the skin when it's layered with, you know, the foundations and powders and everything. It just looks so flawless, and I absolutely love it. And it only costs $5, so that's a perk. By the way, I just think it's so funny how old I feel just by the fact that there's such thing as a 2000s party. I told Austin, my husband, when I was editing this video, he asked what it was for, and I said how I had a client who was attending a 2000s party, and he's like, what's a 2000s party? And I said, you know, like the decade, the 2000s, it's like a throwback. And we just laughed because we both felt so old that the 2000s are enough of a throwback to like dress up in like clothes from that time and have a throwback. Yeah, made me feel pretty old. Anyways, for nose contour, I'm just using that same exact blend that I used all over the face, and just a small brush. This brush is from the BH Cosmetics Rose Quartz Brush Collection. I love this brush collection. It has so many of my ride or die brushes, and it's affordable. Anyway, I applied that contour, and then I'm letting it sit and kind of dry on the skin for a little bit so that when I go to blend it out, it won't blend out too much. And I'm also using some cream blush, the Peony Pink shade of Honest Beauty, that blush that I love. And I went ahead and blended everything out, blended the nose contour, made sure everything was just totally seamless. I even went in with a little bit more of that cream contour just to make sure that the blush and the contour just blended together really nicely. And then I set her face beginning with the under eye area, and I used the Huda Beauty Easy Bake powder in the shade Pound Cake. I've been really enjoying that powder. It just gives such a beautiful matte, velvety, but soft finish to the skin. It does not like dry out your skin at all, even though it is mattifying. And it just looks amazing. It definitely has a pore blurring type of effect to it. And I really like the shade Pound Cake. I find it to work for a lot of different skin tones. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be repurchasing that powder, and I am definitely going to be picking up some more shades. Then to just make the nose contour even more snatched, I baked the sides of the nose contour with that same powder. And I've been enjoying cutting under the apples of the cheeks with bake as well, just to really give like a rounded lift to the apples of the cheeks. I think it looks really pretty. And then I first went in with the Fenty bronzer in Island Ting and went over where we cream contoured. And I also went in with the Benefit Hoola bronzer in the shade Caramel as well. And then I used that same bronzer with a small soft angled brush to go over the nose contour. And can I just say that I really loved how the nose contour turned out on her. Like, it just turned out exactly how I wanted it and looked very snatched in my opinion. So I was quite thrilled. Then I took some Cypress Umber, that brown matte shadow, and just kind of lined her lower lash line first, and then I went in and blended that out with a pencil brush with those more pinky purple shades that we used on the upper lid, and I also connected it with the shadow on the upper lid. She already had microbladed brows, so the shape was already there and perfect. So I just filled them in with some brown eyeshadow on an angled brush like I always do. Then I lightly dusted away that bake, but not completely. I just lightly dusted the excess, and then I pushed the rest of the powder that was there into the skin. That way it didn't disrupt the foundation underneath, and it just kind of adds to the longevity and the mattifying of the makeup. And on the nose, I even pushed in that powder with my beauty blender. Moving on to lashes, I am using the best lash glue ever, the Be Lashed White Lash Adhesive. It's my favorite, and I applied it all along the lash band of the actual pair of falsies. And then I always go in with an angled brush and apply a little bit more of that glue to the inner and outer corners of the lash line, just to reinforce those corners so that they won't lift. These lashes that I'm using, I will link below. They're one of my favorites. I order them from AliExpress. But yeah, so they don't have like a name or anything, so I will link them below. Then I smoked out her lower lash line shadow even a little bit more. It's so important to really take your time blending that lower lash line shadow. It's just as important as blending the upper lid shadow. So if you can do that, and the reason I say if is because I know that some clients struggle to look up long enough for you to really blend on the lower lash line, so just do your best. So I did 2 different setting sprays. I did the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist as well as the ColourPop. I think it's like the Pretty Fresh hyaluronic acid spray, and it like smells like peaches. Then I used some L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion on her shoulders and collarbones and stuff to add some glow there. Then I went in with some Morphe blush, just mixed a few shades, and went over where we did the cream blush. For highlighter, I used the Ofra Cosmetics Rodeo Drive highlighter. It's one that I've been reaching for quite a bit lately. And then I went over all of that with Milani Luminoso blush. For the inner corner, I've been loving using the Vermeer shade from the Modern Renaissance palette. I have basically not touched that shade, and recently I realized that it's the most amazing inner corner highlight. So there you go. Then I added a touch of mascara, of course. For lips, I have really been into this nude lip combo. So it's the lip liner Nude 2 from KKW Beauty. You could also use Sweet Tea by Morphe. I feel like they're like kind of dupes for each other, those two lip liners. And then I used the Angelia Cosmetics Leggy Liquid Lip. It is such a gorgeous nude shade, and it's a super similar color to the ColourPop Aquarius lipstick that has been my ride or die forever but got discontinued. And it's a great formula. I've just really been loving this liquid lipstick. And then I blended the lipstick into the liner with my finger, and then I went over it with the Buxom White Russian gloss. And isn't that just such a pretty nude combo? I've really been loving that lately. Then I put some nude liner in her waterline just to brighten up her eyes even more. I love the effect that this gives. And there you have it. She is so beautiful before, of course, and then she's so gorgeous after. And we both loved how the look turned out. So let me know what you think by leaving a thumbs up or leaving a comment. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.